All right, I'll mute.
All right, you guys. So a little bit late start today. It's 12:05. Sorry for the delay here at American Perspective. It's your host, Noél Roberts, Patriot Mom 007, around here in Arizona. And it's another beautiful Friday. We just came off of the Coronado Day Parade for 4th of July. Robert helped me with that out in Chula Vista. He's in the back there, always the little video audio angel. And he was no different when I was in Coronado on the Marine Corps League float last week. It was pretty spectacular, I will say, best 4th of July of my entire life to date. The only thing that will top it is next year for our 250th anniversary because the Marine Corps League did invite me back on the float. So, of course, I will be in Coronado for next 4th of July and our birthday of America for 250th year. Yeah, I'm already excited for sure for the next year out. But this year is amazing. So check out some of what's up. We did do the live stream. Apologies, the bandwidth a little rough outside there. There was over 100,000 people on the island. So we did what we could. And I think a lot of it did come through. Maybe not as perfect as I would prefer, but you will get the idea of what an amazing day it was with all the people visiting the island in San Diego. And it was just the best time. People were so nice and kind and welcoming. Everybody was having a beautiful day with their families more often than not. And a lot of people from the island I met who have been there their whole lives. And also visitors from around that were there, some Arizonans actually. If you guys are watching today, the Arizonans I met, I don't have a name, but with the nice young gentleman, your sons, if you guys are on today, thank you for tuning in, or whoever is on today. Patriot_mom 007. You can catch us live on all the regular channels today: Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble, Arizona Live Data, a few others: Twitch, Odyssey, D Live, and Kick. And if you don't catch us right now, in the next hour, hour and a half, when we have our guest on today and maybe an extra guest this morning, top of the hour with Art Del Cuarto. He's going to weigh in, I think. Hopefully, he's coming on here in a minute. You can always watch us after because, of course, this stuff stays there forever. And we do have a great show. I'm going to let me see if I can get Art. Is he here? Oh, beautiful. He is in the room. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do, normally I do my, opening news stories, which I am going to do a couple because what we're talking about this morning, like there's so much going on. Okay, first of all, before I start into this, all of those from Camp Mystic and those areas in Texas, we don't want to forget that this happened. I think the count was 170 the other day, I heard, who lost their lives, and it is probably still going to climb a little bit. I know there's several still actually missing from the camp itself, and we haven't even heard, I think, all the numbers from the trailers that were parked nearby the area and in that camping ground. So just, we will pray for the families now of those people who perished and the young children because the families are going to be just having the hardest time for a long time to come. So, all the efforts on the ground have been amazing. We have been watching, and you couldn't do it without your law enforcement and your rescuers and all the people who come from around the country to give meals and just to help however they can with recovery efforts. So, um, we just wish every family the best in this circumstance that is possible. It's a horrific situation. A lot of bad situations going on around the world. Right here in America, we have a pretty bad one recently. If you have been paying attention, I am very upset about this with the ICE agents and the ambush in Texas last week, the early part of the week, because you know how I feel about law enforcement. They pretty much take care of all of us all the time, no matter what division they are in, what industry they're servicing. They are there at the front of the line, and they are our line of defense. And for people to come after them in any capacity, whether they're throwing rocks and bottles at the cars, which I saw last night, also completely outrageous. I hope they arrest all of them in a big net, and then I hope they put them all in a jail and together. That would be fun. And let's lock this, throw the key away. That's what I would do if I were them. So they're probably not going to end up doing that, but they are going to prosecute many of them. So we're going to look forward to those in the near future. But number one, we're going to bring up a couple quick stories about this. And then Art Del Cuarto, our friend of the show, is going to weigh in on a little of this. So Robert, if we just want to start right off the bat with number one and the Axios report that came out, which kind of, I guess, was the catalyst to all of this. And what they were saying in Axios is what we really need to do is be willing to get shot, right? When visiting ICE facilities, they're not visiting ICE facilities, they're trespassing at those facilities. They have no business being on or near any of those types of federal facilities, certainly not with law enforcement involved. And they go on to say that their own base is telling them that this is not good enough. There needs to be blood. So these are call outs for violence straight up. There's no gray area with those words, blood and willing to get shot. I mean, that involves violence, just period, end of sentence. And another House Democrat, which I wish they would name them, they're always anonymous. Civility is not working and, prepare for violence. So they're actually using the word violence. So this is not a good thing where we're at right now. And our officers are the recipients of all the negative behaviors by these criminals and thugs. And then right after that, so we're going to look at this public safety alert on number two, Robert, that we are still looking for this gentleman. And then maybe Art can weigh in on this because I haven't heard an update yet since yesterday morning. So on number two, we have a public safety alert that came out after all of this happened. They did get the 10 people, and we'll go into that after Art jumps off. But the blue alert was a suspect, Benjamin Song. So this is still an alert, I believe. They're looking for him, 32-year-old Asian male in Alvarado, Texas. You do need to call 911 or FBI. We're going to give numbers here in a second. If we can just pop his picture up on number three graphic, Robert, for the wanted poster. Benjamin Hanel Song. There he is in number three. Just take a quick look. We'll bring that back around after we, talk to Art. And then number four, real quick, just a blow up of him. If you haven't seen his picture, let's put that out also. And on number four, you can get a better view. Yep, there he is. We'll save five and on after we talk to Art. And so just take a good look at that guy. Put him on your social media. I need an update from Art. I haven't heard. Hopefully they have caught him, but if not, let's all keep our eyes and ears open. And then we're going to give some numbers for the FBI hotlines and tip lines a little bit later after we talk to Art. So with that, oh my gosh. Let's bring him on because he's graciously agreed to pop on this morning, and he just got back on a flight across the east to west coast again. So I bet he's got a busy day ahead of him. And Art, I haven't even said hello to you. I know you're in the back somewhere. There you are. You and your amazing hat. Hey. And I just need to mute you to unmute yourself, and then it will be perfect. And not quite there yet. For me anyway. Robert, do you have audio? And you want to, yep, Oh, he is fixing you right now, Art. Anyway, you look great for just traveling the last 48 hours. Oh, go ahead and unmute again. Hit that unmute button on the bottom of the screen. See if that not coming. You want to go back out and come back in? Robert, what do you think is the optimum? Oh, let's get that red line off that bottom of your Zoom. Okay.
You got me?
Oh, I got you now. Oh, Robert press. Oh, it's not very often Robert's doing on that back end, but it can happen. So that was a Robert thing. But we have you now, Art. So thanks so much for jumping in with us today. Oh, there you're on mute again. Or Robert, is that on your side?
You got me now?
I got you now.
Oh, there we go. We're good.
Perfect. We love live technology. It's always a challenge for me. So today is obviously no different. Welcome to
No problem.
Friday.
Live is good. Live is good. I'm happy
Live
to be
is
on
good.
here.
Live is good. We're happy to have you always. And I know you were traveling. I don't know for what. If you want to share if there's something going on, please do. But I really wanted to get, you're here in Arizona. You've been with Border Patrol forever, your whole career practically, and down south in our lower area of our state, Tucson area, and the border area itself. So you're very familiar with Border Patrol agents or officers. And this, although it's in Texas where this took place, I'm really curious, really want to just get all your thoughts. Number one, suspect at large. If you heard an update, I might be a little
Oh,
behind on
I-
that
I'm
since
I'm gonna give
yesterday.
you I'm gonna give you a little update that no one's been reporting, and I've talked about it many times before. We got a lot of issues that happen in Texas. Texas has been fantastic because they have a great governor. The governor allows the media to come in, see everything that's going on. We're up to date on everything. The American public is seeing, the world is seeing it, right? Because Governor Abbott has been that open about it. Hey, come look at the problems. So we did have this unfortunate incident down in Rio Grande Valley where this nut job decided to attack Border Patrol agents and staff as they were entering the facility down in RGV, Rio Grande Valley area. And they saw the threat, they returned fire, and now we have one of the bad guys dead, right? And it's always unfortunate when people lose their life. But thankfully, the individuals, the law-abiding, the law enforcement, they were able to be okay out of this situation. However, just a week and a half before this incident, down at the Three Point Station in Tucson sector, you guys are familiar where Three Points, Arizona is.
Yes.
We had two individuals do a drive-by at the Border Patrol station down there and fire shots at Border Patrol agents. It led to a pursuit. There was two individuals that were arrested near one of the casinos several miles down the road from the Three Point Station. I'm still waiting to see what the prosecution is on that. So this incident in Texas, it's horrific, but we had the same type of incident in Tucson just a week and a half prior to that, but nobody reported it. Nobody really talked about it. So it's been unfortunate, the attacks on law enforcement, particularly the attacks on Border Patrol agents. And the reason I say that is because I see a lot of what's going on through the country. I'm still in contact with agents throughout the entire United States. They call me all the time. I received a call just recently from agents that were out in Burbank, California. They were not wearing any insignia. They had no insignia on their uniform. They were driving an unmarked vehicle. They went into a popular chain food restaurant. I don't really want to put the restaurant on blast because I hope it was
Sure.
just an isolated incident there. I will tell you the restaurant doesn't open on Sundays and they serve fantastic chicken. However, they went into this restaurant, and while they were out in the parking lot eating their lunch, managers of the restaurant came out and told them that they had to leave, that it was a private parking, that they didn't want them there. Mind you, at the same time, there was Burbank police officers in full uniform, full vehicles, and sheriffs in the same parking lot. They were not asked to leave. So the hate is towards Border Patrol agents in particular. And you started talking about the politicians and everyone else that's been talking. They're out there saying, fight. They're out there saying, take the fight to the streets. We had a politician in California that called on gang members, asking gang members to make sure that they took care of their neighborhoods against ICE officials. All these individuals need to face consequences. We're seeing the attacks. I'm tired of seeing the attacks. We need mandatory sentences on individuals that are arrested for attacking law enforcement, particularly my heroes in green, the United States Border Patrol.
Exactly. I mean, I'm so glad you shared that with us here in Arizona, what took place a week or so ago with our own officers, because it is, oh God, it makes me so mad that they are so quiet and they pick and choose what important stories they think are
Right.
important. And when anybody is going after law enforcement, again, whether they're in a car and they're on the hood or they're throwing bottles and rocks like yesterday, they were pummeling that car too. I saw that SUV, or whether they're
Yes.
using weapons to lure them as they did in the ambush, like there's no tolerance and should not be. I mean, again, round them up, throw away a key. I hope, here in Arizona, I don't know what's going to happen. We have Chris Mays that does
Right.
prosecutions. I hope she's going to be on the hard edge of the law enforcement side of prosecuting, but we'll see how that goes. Maybe keep us up to date on what's happening with that. As far
Right.
as
Well,
Texas goes. Yeah,
I spoke to some congressmen this morning. They called me early this morning. Andy Biggs, who's just been fantastic. Andy Biggs,
yes,
Congressman Biggs calls once a week, and he's been doing that for the longest time during several administrations. He calls to find out exactly what's going on. He wants to know. He wants to be in tune. I spoke to him briefly earlier this morning, and one of the things that I have suggested and we're pushing is that mandatory sentence. If you attack a law enforcement officer, you need to be prosecuted and you need to be sentenced. Mandatory sentence. There has to be jail
agreed.
time. That's the only thing that's going to stop it. There's another video that, as we are talking, just came on the air several minutes ago of the rioters in California. One of them in the video appears to be shooting a weapon at
I
law
saw that.
enforcement.
Yep, saw that
So that's out
yep.
too. These aren't protesters. These are rioters. These are domestic terrorists. They need to be treated as such.
That's right. Agreed. So we're gonna follow this. I mean, I wanted to hear, I mean, having you on to hear what happened in Arizona was a godsend. Thank you, because again, with the news blackouts like they do, they don't want to report on anything. They don't want to make
Right?
it such a big issue because they want people to pretend like it's not a big issue, that our law enforcement, the protectors of us, are not being protected by us and those who are supposed to do that. And I talk about it all the time. So let's see what Texas does. I think somebody's getting a hard hammer in Texas as far as prosecution goes. So we love
Right.
them out there. They're all about law and order, and that's how we should all be. It doesn't matter. I mean, law enforcement aside, anybody who's being harassed or targeted like that in any way with weapons or otherwise, the prosecution should be heavy and quick and firm. So
Absolutely.
this is just amplified 1,000%. So Art, I'm gonna say thank you so much for your time today. I don't usually have people pop on like this, so this is a test run for us, and you're the best person to test run with me because I trust that you did what you did and you brought us amazing information. So it was such a win-win for me and whoever else is listening today. And let's talk more, and let's have you pop back in when you hear from Andy, which I've not been able to get a hold of him only because I've been swamped. I do
Right.
need to get a hold of him for the show. I just have not yet, but I'd love to circle back with him too, and maybe have you back to back and him pop on one day, and we can get some really good, solid updates for our state as well as, of course, nationally, what's happening to our agents. And thank God that the gentleman hit in the neck, our officer, is going to recover, and it was
Correct.
not worse than it was that day. But obviously, it will be getting worse, and so we're going to keep an eye out for it.
Unfortunately, yes. And thank you for all you do and for keeping the public informed. You do a fantastic job. I really appreciate being on your show each and every time. I'm always available. I travel all over the place, but I'm always available and I make the time for you. And I hope to see you live in studio with you one of these days
Yes,
soon. So
we're
thank you
doing
so much
it.
for everything.
All right, Art, take care. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you. All right, you guys, so nice of him to pop on like that with us and give us that update about the Arizona officers that this happened to as well. I'm going to scour and see if anybody in Arizona is reporting on this. I have not heard a word about it. So a week ago, we think it would have popped on the radar in our state, and that's unfortunate that they do that. But real quick before we bring in Cory, our guest today, because we have a lot of information unrelated to this circumstance. So, I always try to bring you a lot of health resources and information this year since I've stepped into that space and I'm learning about all these new amazing products that, of course, I don't know about, that are out there, and all the founders of these great companies who've put this stuff together for us, non-FDA regulated, because I think we're all learning that if the FDA label is on something, most likely it's the ones you don't want to use because the money follows those letters. And so with the money comes sometimes not as great products. Certainly not for your benefit, but for their pocketbook, definitely. So we're going to bring him on real in a minute. And then I want to also give the emergency tip lines for the FBI. I don't, Robert, I think it's in your run of show. I don't know if you pull it up or not. It's under number 3. Um, area graphic. But the tip lines, 1-800 call FBI. If you do see this gentleman or really anything that's going on these days, I mean, put this in your phone. I feel like everyone should be helping with tip lines around the country. See something, say something is going to be a thing forever. And the Phoenix Field office. So the fact that Art brought this up, we do have a Phoenix office here. I'll say it out, 623-466-1999. Then we have No worries. And then while Robert's trying to cue that up for me at the last minute, because that's what I do is I throw him curveballs all the time and he tries to catch up because that's who he is. But Texas Crime Stoppers number 1-800-252-TIPS. TIPS. So 1-800-252-TIPS. That's the Texas Crime Stoppers. You can start there, or the FBI 1-800 call FBI. Oh, there, he's got them up for us. Thank you. And I'll put them back in the descriptions, Patreon_mom007 on all the regular channels, YouTube, Rumble, all the rest of them. And I will add those tip lines in if I did not already on the front side. Let's real quick.
Silver has been used for centuries for.
We could do, okay, we will hold off on that one. We're going to skip number 6, but I do want to make a note about this gun usage because everybody's like, oh, stop the guns, stop the guns. But the guns do not kill the people. The people kill the people. And they said that they were trying to shoot at them, like these 10 individuals. Can we bring up, now I'm going to make Robert really jump through a couple hoops because I'm jumping around for him. There's a number 5 graphic, those 10 people, Robert, on that graphic who they did catch, these guys. So these 10 alleged members of Antifa terrorist cell from northern Texas, they were accused of carrying out the attempted murder of the federal agents in a terrorist shooting attack on July 4th. I maintain it's not a shooting attack. This is a bad narrative. This is a killing attack. This was meant to kill people and our officers. So when they say shooting, because guns do shoot, but really they kill. So that's what a gun is meant for. Officers do not draw their weapon to wound somebody. Usually it's in peril of their own lives, and that's how they're instructed to use that. And so nobody's shooting at anybody. This is not a carnival shooting gallery with ducks. These are people, and they are trying to actually kill them. So what I see here is a group of inept hitmen hired subversively by the radical left somehow through social media. Who knows how they get these messages out? I guess Axios is a party to this. So I feel like they have some kind of culpability here. Legally, I don't know what that looks like because of free press and all, but I do wonder who is running the Democratic show, right? In Democratville, because they've turned this whole thing into a shell game where we don't know who to pin the tail on the donkey. If it's Hakeem Jeffries, AOC, Mondami now, they brought him in the mix. Newsom, we got Mark Kelly over here in Arizona, or our lovely Jasmine Crockett and her new cool bob hairdo that she's blasting out on X. She wants the shout out on her cute hairdo. Somebody's as the leader, somebody's calling out for these 10 individuals or the others involved to go after and kill our ICE agents. So it'd be nice to figure out who that is, and that's who the kingpin is and probably should be prosecuted first. And then the rest of them, including Axios or anybody calling for violence directly or bloodshed, they should also be wrapped into that prosecution, in my estimation, because they're all in it together. And so we can't tolerate this. So please, Mr. Greg Abbott over there, governor in Texas, we look forward to seeing what you're going to do to set the tone for the rest of the country and just put a stop to what's happening to our enforcement officers in, excuse me, with ICE and around the country in general. We're going to skip number 7, Robert, because I've got Cory waiting and he's waited long enough. And let's just run, if we could, our Jeff Adam. We love Jeff Adam. My chronic silver, I talk about it. I'm using it this week, real quick. Topical healing. I know you guys can't ever see because I'm all blurry. But anyway, topical healing. My son got a sunburn here in Arizona. Figure that. It's pretty hot, 117 now. His friend got a sunburn. He actually took that with him to work the other day for his friend. And within 2 days, their sunburns were alleviated. So that's an overall topical healing spray. Maybe check that out in the summertime. Get off the toxic sprays you use over the counter with the Tropic Sun and all of that from CVS, and use something that's a 100% pure product without the toxins or chemicals. This is what we're trying to promote, is just healthier living, one product at a time. And then we're going to hear about more today. That's going to be fun for us. So let's get the whole thought from my chronic silver.
Silver has been used for centuries for natural human health and has proven to be an effective alternative as a defense against germs, bruises, bacteria, and disease. Mycronic silver technology is superior to other silver products and is specially formulated to work with your immune system for an affordable, natural health choice. Check out mychronicsilver.net today and see why customers are choosing Mycronic Silver, fast-acting and reliable. That's mychronicsilver.net.
Okay, you guys, so check out a product, Mycronic Silver. You can use my code PatriotMom007 to get 10% off. You don't have to auto ship. There's no membership. All these products we bring you, they're just there for you to use. Nobody's trying to, it's not these conglomerates, right? They're actually good products trying to promote good health for you and your family inside your house, inside your body. And that's where it starts. So we're going to talk more about that today. And we're going to bring up a quick video from Cory Hillis on the thermal imaging test. Cell phone products. And so let's hear that. And then we're going to give you a little quick bio and bring on our guest finally today.
Microwave ovens shake and vibrate molecules violently, and they smash into each other. This causes friction, and this heats your food. Well, it's also been shown that cell phones, which emit microwaves too, shake and vibrate molecules, and when against your head, can heat your head. We had to put our products to the test to see what would happen. Here's a summary of the results of one of these tests. Okay, we did our little experiment today where we were talking on a cell phone for 10 minutes with the cell phone chip and without the cell phone chip.
Right.
So this one is with the cell phone chip.
With.
After 10 minutes,
After
right?
10 minutes. And red, white is what the hottest temperature in thermography is. So that's what we're looking to see if the heat increased at all while she was on the phone, and it did not. It kept her protected.
So that's the same person, 10 minutes on a phone call, but not having any
chip.
protection and our cell phone chip, the EMF cell chip on her phone. And you're just saying that obviously there's a ton more red and white.
And red and white is the hottest temperature in thermography, so that's what we're looking for. We're making sure that stays protected, and she was not protected in this picture. As you can tell, the heat increased tremendously when she didn't have that chip on.
So you'd say there's a pretty significant difference.
Huge.
Awesome. Thank you.
Right. So you guys,
Silver has been used for centuries for
it's okay.
Microwave
okay.
ovens shake and
We're gonna
vibrate
take them off
molecules
here.
violently,
No worries, Robert.
and they
It's
smash
okay.
into each
It
other. This
happens.
causes friction, and this
It's so
heats
good
your
we
food.
wanted you to listen
What's
to
also
it
been-
again. Sorry, that's what happens when I throw video last minute options at Robert, is that I make him put them all up in the back end and they might pop back on. That's okay. It happens. So Cory Hillis, he is the founder and president of EMF Solutions. He's a certified EMF specialist and trainer. As the chief innovator and lead designer at EMF Solutions, Cory has devoted his career to understanding the risks of electromagnetic fields and creating innovative ways to protect our health. Motivated by his own personal health challenges, Cory's journey led him to develop life-changing EMF protection products now used around the world. With expertise in quantum reflex analysis, that's something I do not know about yet, clinical nutrition, and EMF remediation, Cory brings a holistic approach to wellness and EMF safety. We're excited to welcome him for a fascinating discussion on staying healthy in our wireless world today. And with that full intro, we're going to bring on Mr. Cory Hillis. Thank you. And you can let yourself in and unmute. Thank you so much.
I'm unmuted. Hopefully it's working. Thanks so much for
Perfect.
having me today, Noel.
Yes, thank you for hanging in there for that little longer intro, 10 minutes over, but I appreciate your patience for sure as a first-time guest on American Perspective today. And so I wanted to cue that up, that's from your website, and we have all of your information. We should on the lower thirds. Robert's bringing it up right now. This is what I mean. I'm making him really putting him to the test today. But we're going to have all that info there. It's also on my descriptions, you guys, at Patriot_Mom007 right now on all the channels. If you're watching on X, YouTube, Rumble, or Facebook Live, you can find his website and his links. And I encourage everyone to do their own research after we hear the conversation. Look through the product lines. We're going to go through some of them today, but just check it out for yourself. They're not expensive. Just let's start with that. I was excited when I looked through them myself to see that everything's very affordable, which is key these days. But you have quite a story and a journey too. So you've talked a lot about your health journey and how it led you to the EMF protection industry in the field. So wanted you to first just share with us what you discovered about EMF fields and then how it, affected you personally and changed your perspective on our technology today. We'll start with that.
Well, I didn't even realize how much was affecting me. I was actually sick 20 years ago, became a holistic practitioner so I could try to give back to people the way I was helped. And so I just wanted to, be somebody that could help people in the way I was helped because, I had a really, really rough couple of years. And I studied all the stuff, became a practitioner, and my colleagues and myself in the holistic world realized if we didn't address this enormous, invisible, toxic elephant in the room, which was the EMF radiation that's increasing more and more every year, that it is getting very hard to address our clients' health concerns, especially when they have like Lyme disease or autoimmune or something serious going on. It's kind of like smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day and then going, all right, well, let's try to take some vitamin C and let's try to do some things to get healthy. It's like you got to get rid of this ginormous toxin. And my wife and I were both practitioners. We tested all the products we could get our hands on, and we realized a couple of things. One is we couldn't find something that worked mostly or completely. A lot of them worked a little bit, some worked not at all, and some actually made it worse. And the other thing I realized is nobody knew how the EMF radiation from your cell phone and Wi-Fi and all this stuff we'll talk about, how was this even causing us symptoms and problems? And so we're kind of the first place in the world to discover the how. And as a result, we made a solution around that, targeting the root cause, which is totally unique compared to anything else in the world in the industry, and having the best results that anybody's ever had. And we've shown, thousands of testimonials. We have tests on human cells. We have more scientific proof about it harming you and that our products can fix it than anywhere else does. But that took us 10 years to get here now.
Right. Well, I mean, looking through the product line, I mean, some of it's going to be technical. So a lot of times when I talk to founders and of these types of companies, this areas that I'm not familiar with. I mean, it's such a learning curve for us all because the science behind it, I'm definitely not scientifically minded, definitely more creative minded, whatever side that is. And so it's a lot to absorb, right? I do love that. Just so you guys know, if you go on the website and it's EMF home
Actually,
test.
I think it's better to go to this landing page.
EMFhometest.com.
Yep,
Yep.
that's the best
We
place for
have
them to
that.
go.
We have
I'll
that in
explain.
the description also. Yep. And you can find a lot of videos, which I really, really appreciated. Not all the companies do that. So you can really, like the one I showed, you can really they break it down a little bit so you can see what you're getting. But we're going to talk more about the product specifically because to me, when I have somebody on here like this, my goal is, yes, of course, we want people to go to the website, but it is intricate and complicated to some. So it's easier if you give us the 101 when we get to the products. And then it's like a little tutorial, like our own YouTube 101, how to EMF proof your home. So with the invisible risks of EMFs that we know exist now, we hear all about the cell phones and in your brain and don't put it by your bedside or even your body, I guess, really. Like what are some just the basic start point common sources of the EMF exposure in your home and workplaces, and then what symptoms would people typically start seeing to note that they might need to get on your website and check out ways to make them more safe?
Every human on planet Earth needs to address this. To not address this is crazy. This is the biggest environmental toxin and stress on you that compared to anything else probably put together, unless you live in a black mold house, this is the king. This is the big one that nobody tells you about probably, unless you're in the holistic world. And I can tell people where to find thousands of studies proving this. It's beyond proof that this is harming us in these ways, beyond, like, smoking industry swept it under the rug for years. This is beyond that. This is so proven yet swept under the rug also that it's crazy. And again, I can tell everybody where to go to find all this neutral party information, summaries of studies, and all that fun stuff. But common symptoms which you could get and people do get, and the studies are on the bioinitiative.org and other places, are, I would say, problems with fatigue and sleep problems are kind of like top of the list. Chronic fatigue, sleep problems, cloudy thinking, that's a big one. Autoimmune disorders or imbalances or suppression of all kinds. Autism. I mean, these are people like Dr. Martin Paul saying autism's directly caused by this, not just like one of the little factors. Cancers, tumors, low melatonin production when you're sleeping, major problems with reproduction and reproduction ability. So a lot of people now are having a hard time having kids, and this is why. And that story is a whole, I could talk an hour about that alone. Cardiovascular issues, and then that's just some of the things. These are like some of the symptoms you can get from EMFs. Now, one of the symptoms of EMFs is DNA damage, nitric oxide imbalances, free radical damage inside your cells. Now, even if you don't have the symptoms I named first, you're getting that. That's happening to you in massive quantities. You are getting DNA damage in your body. If I quote one study by the European Union, people won't even believe me. You have to go look it up, how much DNA damage just your cell phone can give you.
Well, yes, I'm learning about all of this. So my girlfriend, I wonder if it's on this one that I have it. I don't think it is. I think it's on my other, yeah, it's on my other phone. She gave me a couple years ago, maybe the year before last, this little tag, right? And it is on my other phone, and I put it in the back of my cell phone. And you think to yourself, what is this doing? Like, really, what is this doing? And how does it even work? Because it's just a little disc, it's plastic, seemingly. Just out of curiosity to let people know, because the skepticism comes in the fact that being not scientific, most of us, we're just like, there's no way that these little devices are even able to do anything, right? So I know it's a frequency, I'm going to guess, kind of thing, right? So simplified for people like me, when you put a little disc in your phone, and we're going to pull up the products page in a minute because we're going to go through some of those specifically, what's happening that this is protecting us in the back of that case?
I can put it in layman terms, but it's not a one or two sentence answer, unfortunately.
It's okay.
It's
Well, luckily
complicated.
we have a little bit of time, so be my guest.
And the way to explain it is this. First of all, you got to know it's radiation. Radiation, people think of X-rays, nuclear power. That's many trillions of waves per second is the frequency of that radiation. When you take it down to billions of waves per second, you have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, like your cell phone, everything Bluetooth in your house, the cell towers, the Starlink that's sending laser beam like super high frequency up to 100 billion waves per second coming from there down, and all the rest. All the way down to, which also affects you, but it takes a lot more to a lesser degree, electricity, which has EMFs in it, electromagnetic frequencies, which are 60 hertz or 60 waves per second. So that's electricity all the way up to hundreds of thousands and tens of billions up to 100 billion waves per second. So that's what radiation is. Now, how is it harming you? Why is it so bad? Why are we in this point? Think about, let's just do common sense. How does your cell phone work? People just like put food in the microwave, bing, 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 magic, it's hot. The way that the microwave ovens works is they use a frequency in the 2.45 gigahertz or billions of waves per second range. That frequency is really good at shaking and vibrating molecules, actually spinning them, shaking and vibrating them. These little subatomic molecules smash into each other. That creates friction. That friction heats up your food. Okay, that's what happens in a microwave. It's like taking a mini hammer 2.5 billion times a second and pulverizing the little molecules. That's kind of what happens. Now, your router is the exact same frequency as your microwave oven. So when you turn that on, it's like a microwave oven in the corner of the house with no walls on it. Those waves get to your phone, and that's how you transfer information. Those waves become ones and zeros through the air so that some other antenna can pick them up and transfer that into audio, video, and information. So all the information we have traveling through the air is done that way. The first microwave ovens were called radar ovens, by the way. That sounded
Right.
gross. Nobody wanted to radar their food, so they
Right.
changed it to microwave oven because it sounded nicer.
Yeah.
Well, you have a microwave phone, you have a radar phone, you have a radar router, you have a radar gaming station. This is what you have in your house. And this is radiation, and it has serious consequences. The studies have been around for a long time. Let me show you how this is actually harming us, and I can kind of show you what our products are doing to address this, which is totally unique. Okay. Can you see this?
I sure can. Yep, we got it.
So this big circle is a human cell. And this study was by Dr. Martin Pall many years ago. He and a bunch of other smart scientists, professors, discovered that somehow the EMF radiation was causing a malfunction in one of the doors on your cell. So your cell has doors. One door, it's like the round peg, the square peg, and the triangle. One door lets in magnesium only. Nothing else fits in that door. Another door lets in a certain amino acid and sodium. And one door lets in a double ion calcium molecule. So it's a way for calcium molecules to fly in and out of the cell, which is really important because that changes the charge of the cell. Your heart, your muscles use it, like constantly changing this in and out all the time. Every split second, this is happening in your body. So it's called a calcium channel, or a voltage gated calcium channel if you want to get specific. So this door, called a voltage gated calcium channel, is malfunctioning. So when you're around your router or your cell phone or whatever, it's causing a malfunction on this door. So now the door opens and all the calcium running by in your blood, which is, it's the most abundant vitamin mineral in your body, it's flying around all over, floods your cell when it's not supposed to. You're getting too much calcium, too many positive ions, so the charge is all screwed up, and that's what snowballs into all these effects. So this is causing the door to open, and all of these, the nitric oxide imbalances, free radical damage, DNA damage, all this happening. Okay, we came along, and the scientists didn't really know how this is happening, because the physicists say, well, this can't do that. And they're right. But the biologists aren't physicists, so they're all going, well, but all the studies are showing it happen. And we discovered it's a domino effect. So when the radiation, which is photons traveling light speed, they smash into particles in the air or the house or your chair or your bed or you, they shake and vibrate molecules just like your microwave oven does. We call that subatomic chaos. Okay? That subatomic chaos conducts through things, gets to you, and causes that reaction in your cells. Why do I explain that whole process? A couple of reasons. One, it's the first time we understand the whole thing's happening. Second, our products are not blocking the radiation. If we did block it, your Wi-Fi wouldn't work anymore. Your cell phone wouldn't work anymore. Your FM radio wouldn't work anymore. Like, technology's gone. So all those little cases that say they block it, you would have no cell phone service. You wouldn't work. So that doesn't work. So you can't block it to have your technology. So we don't need to block it. What we need to do is address the subatomic chaos, that second domino. And our products uniquely target that subatomic chaos, because when you stop this, then you ought to stop all that reaction. And that's exactly what we proved in a lab in Texas did anyway. They took human cells, put them in an incubator. When they added a router nearby, a Wi-Fi router, regular one, household Wi-Fi router, the cells doubled and tripled in calcium levels. Actually, breast cells reduced 85% the level of calcium. Other cells doubled. So depending on the calcium channel, because there's different kind of calcium channels in your body, the door may malfunction and stay open, or the door may malfunction and not open when it's supposed to. Different kind of calcium channels are being affected by this stuff differently. no matter what it did, when our products were applied, it completely fixed the problem with a perfect probability function on 4,000 cells on each of the type of cells we tested in the human body. So long story short, our products absolutely fixed that problem. And that's why we're getting the best results on planet Earth with it. So I know it's a lot to take in. It's kind of complex, but
Well, that's why we talk about it, because it is complex. And even, I mean, yes, even what you just said, also a little complex, not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not the only person who doesn't grasp. Yes, we had microwaves in the 80s, and my parents had that one for 35 years, the big gigantic microwave, which probably, I don't know if it was more dangerous then or less dangerous. I feel like now it's more dangerous because they've made everything stronger, but and smaller, right? So the big ones cooked, but now they're like miniature versions and they cook super fast. They'll burn, if you put anything, excuse me, in there of a container, they'll just burn right through a container. So that's not good. So yeah, we do like the breakdown, because the goal here is, because we haven't met before, but the goal here is this year to bring resources. The links are great, but really for somebody to be able to rewind, who might be more understanding of what you just said more than myself, off, the first time around, because I'll be listening back, is so that they can really just replay it. And then when they go to a website of yours, or Jeff Adam or anyone, I'm in contact with rncstore.com for, our cancer prevention, that they can refer back to this information, and then they understand what they're going to purchase, and they're not just blindly going on a website and just rolling the dice and thinking, oh, I hope this works. Because I do want the understanding there. We want to help you and network with everyone that listens, but we're not just trying to sell a product. Like, this is not the goal here. And so the information that you provide one-on-one is really the important part. And so with that, we want to bring up your website, your products page, talking about some specifics. And I looked through them the other day, not as much as I would like either. So, and that's great, because I do like to go through things one by one with the audience at the same time. It's a good way of learning for us all. And so on the products page, Robert, if we can get to that one, let's see. Let's bring up, there's a bunch of products in blocks. So we're going to go back up one, I think. And this is the home, this is the landing page. So there we go. Perfect. Okay. And this down just a little hair, and we'll go to the our product section. Yep. And let's start with, really, one of my questions is, of all of the products, also for affordability factor in mind, if somebody could only buy one, like they're like, I'm starting this today, what is the number one place to start? And then we'll kind of work over next a few others from there.
So it's a great question. First of all, I would tell people this is complicated. And when we fix everything in somebody's life, the house, the car, their work, their cell phone, give them a personal product to walk around with, like, I just know it's there. In my back pocket, there's a credit card size device that I put in my pocket every morning. And I know that when I leave the house, I'm mostly protected. Some of our things almost completely protect. It's hard to protect you around this stuff, but it's like 85, 95% often protecting you from this stuff. But I think going to this landing page is really good for your listeners, because they're probably going to finish this and still have a bunch of questions. And they can, by going here, they can click on get a free home test. And if we have a rep, we have them speckled across the country. If a rep's close enough to you, they will literally drive to your house, whip out meters similar to this one, test the EMF radiation in your house, on your phone, on your router, compare it to what the experts say is safe, and show you that every house is bonkers high now in levels of radiation. If we don't have a rep near you, they'll do a consultation for free over the phone, and the testing's free. The consultation's free. You're talking to a trained certified EMF specialist. And then you can say, like your great question, you can say, hey, I got a limited budget. I want to do what I can, but I want one product, or I have this much money, or whatever. They'll say, here's the most important thing in your situation, because everybody's situation may be different depending on if they have solar panels in their house, if they're, on the laptop all day, and so a bunch of other questions. They'll tell you this is the most important product, then this one, and so on. But to answer your question, with that being said, if you just wanted one product, that's a tough one. because there's three most important things that I would say. There's kind of like, it's hard for me to pick one. It might be a personal protection product. Sorry if my dog's barking in the background. So personal protection product, you either can get a wristband called an XL band, which XL isn't necessarily size, it's more like strength.
Sure.
Just means it's strong. It's an average. It looks like a cell phone watch. When you put it on your wrist. I got pretty small wrists, but you can see it just kind of looks like a regular cell
Band.
phone
Yep.
watch. That, and then we have smaller ones for kids. We have different colors. Or the card, which I always have a back pocket. So I always like my card in my pocket because it's just, I don't like to wear too much jewelry except for my wedding ring. And those are all choices. That might be a first choice. Get some personal protection product that you wear everywhere.
So that's a great place to start. And we did cue this up because I actually did this, and I did this for a reason. Joel kindly called me yesterday, texted me, we're going to have a call after this. So on the website, just below the products where we just showed you on that page, on the products page, get a free home test, a little form you fill out. And honestly, I filled it out yesterday. I did it because you were going to be on the show and I wanted to engage with the website and really just check it out, I guess. And then boom, Joel texted me later in the evening and we chatted about it. He did not know you were coming on today. He did not know who I was. And I used my real name and my regular name, not Patriot Mom 007. And so we talked and I told him, hey, Cory's coming on the show tomorrow. I kind of wanted to see where this goes and what it looks like because I want to share that on the show that you get a call, you get a contact point, and then we set a call after this and we're going to have a discussion about other things. I don't know if you have anybody over here in Arizona. I'm going to be talking to you about that anyway on the side, but I hope somebody's out this way. My kids have a rental house right now. That's where my studio is. And they have solar panels. The owners have solar panels up there for Tesla. My personal home, we do not have that, but we do have the smart TVs and all the other devices. So just putting that out there, you guys, the form's there, it's free home test. And actually there is a video on the website with Del Bigtree. I did have it queued up, but we're not going to play it. And it does go over actually with Cory going into, Dell's home with his wife, you can see how they're testing the product. So that video is on there for you to actually see what that looks like after you fill out the get a free home test form. So back to the products up top, Robert. We've got the personal band. Makes sense because I wear old fashioned watch. I probably won't ever wear a smart watch, but I like an old fashioned watch. I'm old fashioned. And but everybody else I know has the Apple Watches, everybody. And they change their bands all the time, actually, all the women that I know. So I'm going to definitely be sharing the band with them. And then also the card you had in your back pocket, you have to carry that on your person, or can it for a woman be in the wallet on your purse? Okay.
No, it needs to be pretty close to you.
Okay.
Facing the correct direction, ideally not having other metal things in it because it could mess with how that works.
So more of a that might be a mail tool because of the wallet situation in your back pocket.
You could definitely put it in your wallet as long as it's on the side of the wallet that faces your body.
Okay, good to know.
So guys could put it in their wallet, and almost all guys don't even realize it. They fold it and they stick it in the pocket the exact same way every single time. You just put it on that side that faces you so that this side faces you, and then it works. Now for women, my wife, I put a warning on here. Don't put it around your chest, around your heart, because it has a very extremely insanely small, weak magnet in it. But in this litigious society, you have to put a warning, like don't put it around your heart because well, you don't want to, interfere with anything or something.
Sure.
That can affect a credit card, or if you put it on the fridge, you can lightly blow air and it just like a feather goes off. It's the lightest little magnet, but because of that, we have to warn people, oh, don't do this.
Yeah, fair enough.
My wife puts it in her bra, usually on her right side, like under her armpit or just in the back.
Yeah, right there.
Cuts material. She doesn't put it in the bra like on her skin. She cuts her material, so she just slips it in there in all her bras, and then she just slips it out later so she can wear a dress, yoga pants, whatever, not have a pocket, and it's there.
I think we just need to design a new bra for women anyway with the EMF card pocket like that. That's a marketable item, I'm sure. I'll talk to your wife about that because she's obviously smart on the invention side. The device chip I was looking at in the modem and the routers, and I'm most interested in that as a smaller device. It's only $39. $10.95. In fact, those the personal chips, the cards I'm actually going to be sharing with my boys are 20 and 23, and they're very hyper aware of all these issues surrounding us today. And they're proactive about that with their supplements and their product lines now. So this will be an addition to that. But the device chip, I assume, I'm going to guess, I did not look at it directly, but I assume you plug it in the back of your modem or router, and it diffuses all those extra waves, yes, from coming at us. Is that how that works?
Yes, it addresses again the subatomic chaos in a proprietary way, which is, patent pending and some secrets we don't share. But yeah, you would put it on the most important thing in your house is almost always your Wi-Fi router. That gives off the most chaotic wave. In nature, most of nature's waves are unpolarized, like you walk out in the sun. It's unpolarized and they're analog. In other words, if you map them out, they look like this. The waves that we produce in man are digital with jagged edges, and they're very chaotic, meaning one small wave, one big wave, and it's like a mess. So it's almost like drawing a wave, like drawing stairs would be like how you would say a digital wave. So man-made waves create a lot of subatomic chaos because of not to get into the science part, but because of that, and nature's doesn't. But that's just kind of like a little tidbit in. And I want to say two things. One is I'm not against technology. I was the first in line to get a 5G phone. One, I wanted the technology, and two, I wanted to make sure our products were still working on it, when they went from 4G to 5G. And I love the technology. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying, let's ban 5G. I'm not out there doing it. We can fix 5G. I've actually fixed cell towers, a couple of them near my house. One was 10 yards from my house in San Diego when I lived there with my wife. And we immediately woke up feeling horrible. We didn't know why. We had products on our house because we were in the business. This was a little under 10 years ago. And all of a sudden we wake up and we're like, I slept terrible. Me too. I feel terrible. Me too. And our neighbor told us hours or a day later, okay, there was some guys were up on the pole right next to your house. I wonder if that has something to do with you guys, feeling so crummy. And that was one of the first 5G towers on a pole. So we overfixed our house, immediately felt great, slept great, month-to-month lease, fixed that cell tower, moved here, fixed another big cell tower. So cell towers can be fixed too, just like a phone. But that's another
Right.
story. That's something I hope to make friends with these big companies one day, because we already have the technology, but I'm working on something that's going to button it all up. And the first one to this finish line, I believe, it can make phones that are already fixed. You buy them, and a mom can say, hey, I want the EMF safe phone, the radiation safe phone.
Wow.
And maybe it's Apple, maybe it's Samsung, maybe, I don't know, but somebody's going to hopefully own this technology, market it. And I think every mom in the universe is going to say, I'd rather, just to be safe, I'd rather get that phone for my kids than the regular phone. And so I hope to get there one day.
Well, that would be amazing, because we know for our children, I mean, getting these devices so young, 3-year-olds are holding cell phones and then having them next to their body for, 70 years, where I was I want to say 26 or something when I got my first cell phone, and they were flip phones, and they were flip phones for a few years. I had 3 razors, and I wish I could go back to that. Honestly, I did not mind the flip phone. The smartphones are, of course, great and helpful and handy because they are a computer in your hand. But I do think about it at night. I do try to keep it further, but of course we use them for our alarm clocks now, so they are within reach. But to be mindful of having everything turned on, even just the electricity around us, and what it's doing and frying our brains and probably our organs to some extent as well. It's important that we at least bring it to the surface like you're doing, and have products that can possibly address for people. I was looking too at the device chip, which would be a laptop, tablet, Kindle type of device. But the nice thing about it, and I want to drive the point home, because a lot of people don't want to revamp their circumstance in their home or their livable situation with really healthful products, because they do tend to be expensive. Like the best stuff is the most expensive stuff. And that's always going to be the case, because it's like the truest product form. But your products are so cheap. I don't want to say cheap. That's a terrible word to use. Affordable, right? right? Well, single mom over here for 20 years, so cheap is not a dirty word to me. But
Yeah.
$89.95 this device chip, but you get 2 chips in that. So you're $45 a pop, which $45, I mean, I can barely go to lunch in Arizona for under 30 for sure. Or the movies, which I haven't been to in a while, but a girlfriend was there yesterday. With the kids, it was $40 easily out the door for popcorn and a couple slushies. So that's terrible for you. Both items of that nature are terrible for you. So for $40 to get 2 devices that you can use on products that you are literally living with all the time on your lap. I do that sometimes, but always I got 2 right here, plus the monitor, like we all do, we all have it. I just really encourage everyone, if you're tuning in now or whether you're going to check this out later, to get on to the website at emfsol.com. It's on my descriptions, Patriot_mom007 on the channels. Shop around, read, and everything's very simplified. Like I'm reading, it's very visually easy to digest what is on the website and the product lines. Now, if we go before we go big, the car harmonizer, I want to touch on the car because I do a lot of driving. The other day I drove probably almost 200 miles before midday, just appointments around town. Arizona's a big state, and that's a regular occurrence. So I'm in my car a lot, as many people are who do that type of driving. So tell me about the car harmonizer, because that's only $74.95, certainly also very affordable.
If somebody fixes everything correctly, we get a testimonial about half the time. We don't fix any medical conditions, but this is such a big stress that just when you fix it all, it's such a big shift for people that takes all this stress away, and your body has more energy and it uses it for other things that it could fix, repair, whatever. We get that many testimonials that often. When people are sick, it's way above that. We had a study on people with sleep problems. 55% of the people got better sleep, most of them the first night. It's a big deal. If you get just one thing, like, your cell chip, the sensitive people will notice big time, but everybody might not until you really, take that toxic level of stuff down. But to answer your question on the car harmonizer, cars are made of metal. Metal amplifies the subatomic chaos that EMFs produce. So it amplifies the negative effects of EMFs. When you're riding around in a car, when you're flying around in a plane, you are getting much more hammered by EMFs than if you're just walking down the street. So fixing a car is really important. And I literally, if I drive a car, I don't get back problems. I'll sit here this whole interview, I'll sit here all day. I don't have any back problems. Almost never do I have a back problem, knock on wood. If I drive a car that's not fixed with our product, my low back starts hurting. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on, but my low back starts hurting. We got a new car, a Tahoe. It was really hurting until I fixed it properly. And it reminded me, because it's been so many years, I just got used to I thought it was the shape of the seat in the car until I fixed it, until I plugged our product in and fixed it properly. And then boom, I could drive it for hours and hours and hours. I'm like, wow, it wasn't the darn seat. And so it's amazing what kind of things can go on from EMS and what kind of testimonials we get. Our website's not going to show the ones that have even hint at anything medical, just because I want to stay safe. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I'm not busted for practicing medicine without a license. Careful, but you can read, I don't know, there's 100, 150, which I have thousands of testimonials saying better sleep, more energy, pain's going away, and some other stuff. But the car one's very important, more important than people think. And it's just this. It's a little thing that plugs into the car plug on one side. It plugs in. You can charge 2 phones, and
handy.
these are plugged up, and that has our material in it, and that's going to mostly protect you from everything that you're around. Almost everywhere you go, it's going to be a huge difference.
So that's great. So that's definitely a product I'm immediately interested in because of the driving I do. And look, you have even made it convenient. Of course, I do have my little cigarette lighter in there to charge my phone through the cord. So this is great. So nobody has an excuse not to even try the product out. Tell me too, real quick, since we're talking about products, what and the car item, folks, $74.95. So just get online and start looking at these products for your betterment of health and your families, your kids especially. I mean, if you're 50, 60, 70 and you think, oh, you're in that whole, oh, it's not going to matter now mindset, that's not
That's to
true,
me.
first of all, right?
No.
That's not true. It'll help. But your kids, your grandkids especially, they're so much younger. Like even if you think to yourself, like I'm beyond it. I know it's not for me. Do it for the kids. And there's, the whole generation coming up, the younger ones too. My girlfriend just had a grandbaby last week. And so this is where it's going to matter because the cancer causing effects of all these devices that we're using, and they're only going to get stronger and more miniature, which makes them worse for us, the neural links, and they want to put things in our brains and all of that. We really do have to start thinking about our 20 years down the road for the kids and what that looks like for their long-term health. And the cancers are prevalent anyway. Of course, our MAHA RFK is trying to clean up our Skittles and our coloring and all of that for some of the other issues caused. But with that, those other items that we ingest and that are in the air that we can't control, those are going to have toxins in them. They're going to ruin our insides and our DNA perpetually anyway. So if you can find one thing that you can start making better in your house or your car, I'm saying all for it. And that's where really we should put our energies because we can't fix everything, but we can certainly fix our own environments and share this information with others. Also, if you have people who are sick, who are feeling bad in general, who have some of the issues Cory mentioned, fatigue or tiredness, or just some weird autoimmune stuff, you can't always pinpoint it. And doctors these days, the practice of medicine, they're really practicing. They really don't even identify a lot of things. And then they just throw pharmaceuticals at you. And we're trying to say, get away from pharmaceuticals. There's no good that can come of them. Obviously, if you have a heart issue and you need nitro, which my dad does, 100% behind it. But some of them are so repetitive. And if one thing does 5 things, you got to question the efficacy of that one thing they're giving it to you for on a pharmaceutical end. What is like if somebody orders something and they're not happy with it, they don't see a difference. And so they're just like, not for me. What's your like return policy with customer service?
Well, some of our reps didn't feel a difference. Most of our reps actually felt the testimonial and called us and said, "Can I work for you?" But we have a 60-day return policy for any reason. You can just read the
Perfect.
policy right on there. But Kathy is now one of our managers, and she's a manager of a pretty big team, and she didn't experience anything, but she went to her medical doctor who happened to prick your finger and look at your blood under a microscope. And she did it before. Then she did it on a 2-minute call with our chip and watched her blood clear up. And then she got on it, continued the call for 2 minutes, just 2 minutes on a phone call. And then I forgot I got my diagram, and I actually have a picture of hers. I got pages of people doing this, but this is her. So she did this at her doctor's. She didn't experience a testimonial. Her daughter did, said she sleep better, but after her doctor said, "Geez, these products work," she called us and said, "Can I work for you?" But this is her blood coming off the street. These are red blood cells. It's supposed to be round and spaced apart. And if you watch the video, they don't move around too good. They're a little sluggish. This is her blood. She got on the cell phone call with our product on it, and her blood looks better than it was.
Clear, more clear.
With the radiation against her head. Then she continued to 2 more minutes on her phone, and this is what they look like.
Huh.
So, I can make it a little big. So it
Yeah,
goes
no, we
from
can see that perfectly.
4 with our chip, without our
Wow.
chip. And I can show you, I did it standing in front of a smart meter. No, I did it under power lines. We've had lots of people doing this almost every time. This is what happens. This is just one of the many things you can see. So it's
That's
it's a
well, that's great because, like I said, if people go on the website, which is key when you're researching products, don't we see a lot of infomercials and then you just dial if people just dial up, oh, that sounds amazing, or we know somebody who might be a proponent or, working, affiliate for that company. Like, let's take Mike Huckabee. Like, everybody, I think, trusts Mike Huckabee, and he promotes certain products. And so the tendency is to be just jumping on and buying a product because you trust that person. And having you on, and people can hear who is behind this movement for safety, I think really lends credibility. But also, you have to go online, you guys. Education, I always say, is the most important thing of all, of anything you're doing, whether it's this, politics, whatever. You've got to educate yourself. And the only way to educate yourself is to take the time yourself to go on and just do your research. It does, do it at night when you're done with your day. Don't cram it in, so you can pay attention to what you're looking at and absorb what they're saying. And guess what? AI is a thing now. So what you don't understand, I haven't done it yet, but now I'm thinking you probably could just clip out something from the website. If you're like, well, I don't really understand that, throw it in your AI, tell them to simplify it for you, and you'll get a whole perfect explanation. No YouTube, tutorials involved in watching. So you just have to make it work for you and your family to make sure that you're getting the right information, the most helpful information for the most healthful outcome for you and your families. That's where I stand on this. And I also wanted to ask, because we are not running out of time, because we have actually unlimited time online. Nobody stops me from doing anything. Luckily here. If somebody wants to start today and they're hearing this or seeing this after, what's like the most practical steps that they can take right now to reduce the exposure, to protect their families? And do they necessarily, is there a package? I think there might be. Is there a bundle that really makes sense if you're going to just jump right in and just want to blanket protect yourself this weekend or as soon as the products get to you?
Yeah, I mean, fixing your cell phone's important, but we have a home bundle, and that does have the main product, which, where'd I place it? The main product's called a home harmonizer. It's a 4-inch cube box
Yeah.
that you would put near your smart meter. It's not just to handle your smart meter, which is something that is a big problem, but it's using the electric wires in your house to spread the field into every room in your house. It's the biggest thing that's going to protect you and your family by putting the home harmonizer on. But the home bundle comes with this plus a device chip. Most important place for that is almost always your Wi-Fi router. Unless you have like an Alexa right next to your bed, that would be more important because it's right next to your bed, and you shouldn't have anything like that next to your bed.
Right.
And then it also comes with something we call a Better Z's you put under your mattress. And I call it a Better Z's because we get a lot of testimonials about sleeping better
Okay.
when you
The
put a
sleeping is
finishing touch with
important.
that.
And the sleeping is important. I've been looking into I don't know if you have an opinion on grounding mats. I know they've been around for quite a while. I have several friends that use them and swear by those, and the ones under the desk where they work. I don't know if it's a similar type situation, but the nighttime is a big deal because I mean, I'm a 5-hour person average at night, which I know is it's not near enough for me at all, and it's not good for your body. And I know a lot of people who suffer in our 50s and 60s and thereafter from sleep deprivation, which also plays a role in really harming your body and so many. So if you're not firing with sleep and you're not giving yourself the time to recover, it really already knocks you back health wise anyway. Then you start adding all the radiation sources, which of course we can't cut those out. I mean, if we're realistic, nobody's cutting out any smart TVs or devices of any kind ever again. That's just not going to happen in this world. And they're only going to get more intensive. So a home bundle package might be a really great way to go. And the home bundle package is $624. And it's so cute the way you guys have cents on there, $624 and 85 cents. It's just, you just don't ever see that anymore. So I appreciate the preciseness, because then you know that they're like drilling it down to the actual pennies. And it's not just a number that they come up with, 599.00. So that's what that tells me, is you're really getting it down to the cost. But the bundle includes the home harmonizer, just mentioned, the device chip, and the Better Z's, and that works with the 4G and 5G satellites and towers. And so the dirty electricity, right, plus the Wi-Fi router and your bed. So that would be a really great place to start. And it does cover over 4,000 square feet of a home. I'm looking here. And there's a lot of specs on here that you can read about the different products. Also, why I say please go on the website at your earliest convenience. So here they have the picture, young daughter in her bed with the better Z's, $47.95 just for that one device. And again, if you don't worry about yourself as an adult or a parent or grandparent, understandable, you're an adult, you can choose what you want to do with your health. But for the kids, it's our jobs to protect the kids, whether it's from crime, whether it's from online whatever's happening inappropriately, or just from the dangers of what we know exist in the toxic skittles, in the EMF that's happening around our children's heads all the time since the day they're born, literally in utero. And so we're exposing them to harmful things. We should at least look at a product that can potentially counteract or counterbalance that for their long-term health. And so I do want to say, Cory, is there something that we did not touch on today? I mean, we can have you on again. Certainly, there's so much more we can talk about. But for now, is there something I missed that you think is maybe you want to share with our audience?
You keep mentioning kids, and kids are 2.5 times more affected. There's a couple of things that I want to mention there. So the bioinitiative.org, it's called the bioinitiative, one word, .org. That's an organization that's been studying EMFs for the most amount of years that I know of anybody. They're neutral. They don't sell anything. They're not funded by anybody with an agenda one way or another. Certainly, there's no money in saying that their EMFs are harmful. That's for sure. And they have over 4,000 studies on one website. They've been building up over the years. They tell you what the harmful levels are, which are insanely small compared to what the FCC says. And they also show you that children are being 2.5 times more affected by this stuff. Now, if children are being more affected, like in this study where we did like people that got on their cell phone and showed that the thermal imaging was showing heat happening in their head. And it's not heat like a radiator next to you. It's heat from the inside out with your molecules spinning and smashing into each other, creating friction and heating your head from the inside out. That's what's happening on cell phones. And the FCC has a safety rating of 1.6 on the SAR rating, specific absorption rate. That's how much radiation is absorbing, meaning it's heating your head. And they say there's an acceptable level of heating your head that way. To me, there's no acceptable level of heating my head that way, okay? But
Agreed.
they say it is. Every single person that's listening right now has a cell phone with a small print in their contract that says your cell phone exceeds the safety guidelines that are already ridiculously high by the FCC as soon as you touch your phone. So every single cell phone is over the safety guidelines, but they only have to put it in the small print. So this is just like the European Union did a study, and I'll mention this because this will blow people away. How much DNA damage happens on a cell phone compared with a chest x-ray? Because we know a chest x-ray gives DNA damage. That's why we don't get them every day for no reason. You get them when you have a medical reason. So how much radiation coming off the cell phone produces DNA damage compared to a chest x-ray? 12 institutions across Europe. European Union paid for this study. Not one guy in a lab. 12 institutions in different countries all agreed that drop the mic kind of thing. 24 hours on a cell phone was equal to 1,600 chest x-rays worth of DNA damage in your body.
So this is very bad, basically, the bottom line. It's very bad. It's very bad as the bottom line. I mean, in a nutshell.
It's a big deal. And your body, like you said, instead of resting at night, your body is repairing all this all the time. You don't have the energy to make melatonin, which heals you, to make the adrenaline. I was a practitioner. So most of your adrenaline that you use today was made during sleep last night. And if you didn't make enough during sleep, you're going to crash halfway through the day. And you're wondering why you're crashing. It's probably the EMFs because your body's getting pounded day and especially night.
And tell me, you said you're a practitioner.
What's that?
When you said you're a practitioner, just give me real quick what that looked like professionally.
Oh, you read my credentials, but quantum reflex analysis, clinical nutrition, weight management consultant, and a bunch of other things that we did. We actually invented our own healing modality that people wanted to buy. But then when I got into EMFs, for my own clients, I didn't plan to make a company, by the way. I just tried to fix the EMFs for my own clients. And it worked so well that I had to make a decision because I was getting a lot of testimonials from one visit to a house. And I just decided the world needs this. So I did this. My wife quit her practice and started, and then I hired somebody because I got too busy. And then I hired somebody to train the people. And then, it just kind of grew into a company by a beautiful accident from above, I guess.
Well, it's good to know too that, sometimes people hear owners of companies and they're just this, people are so conditioned to just believe that everyone is a bottom line driven in this society, and they don't really give it thought that there are highly qualified people in this space now because of what we see in the commercials all over the years. And so everybody needs to understand that the people that I have on now, I haven't met Cory personally. Although I'm sure this is a small industry and it's a small world. I probably will, I think, sometime in 25, hopefully. But I can assure you that I am not bringing people on. Most everybody else I do know that I have brought on with product lines of this nature. And I just want it to be understood that, again, it is not about me promoting products. This is not what I'm doing. I'm actually just bringing you links and resources for you to do your own research and to, narrow down the areas that for your own families might be causing a problem, whether it is with the kids, which are the most important. I bring it up because I have to, everybody, a lot of people have kids. Like, it is always the most important factor of our lives once you have them, or even if you know them or you have a niece or nephew. I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're kids, they're helpless without our help. And so you just have to start looking into the supplements you take, the nasal. I told you I never used nasal sprays in my life. My son was prescribed them for years for his asthma and his allergies in Arizona. And I knew they were terrible. They're terrible for you. In fact, I didn't even really let him use them that much when he was a kid, like 7, 8, 9 years old, because what it does to your lining and the chemicals in there. But like the Mycronic Silver nasal spray, you guys, I tried it when I was sick last year. I was done in 2 days. Everybody else was sick for 2 weeks. That was combined with actually another product that I just spray in my throat. And so get off the Benadryls, get off, the Tylenols, the NyQuils, the hard on the liver items, and bring in more responsible products that your family will benefit from. And there might be a little initial investment up front, but honestly, everything else is so expensive these days. What is $30, $40, $70 for long-term health that helps everybody in the house at once? And you're not just taking a pill, that one particular person for that one incident at the time. So this is why I just encourage you to do your research and learn. Listen to people like Cory. Get online. When you get on the websites, go through all the tabs. Like, they're there for a reason. They don't make the websites for fun. They make them for informational purposes. And if you click around on them like you do on your phone or scroll on Snapchat or just mindless, clicking on those things that I forget, Instagram, you touch it and then it goes to the next story and the next story. I think that might be Reels. I'm not even sure, but that's that rapid fire clicking that you do. Go on the websites and click around a website instead. Follow him on X, follow him on Facebook and Instagram, EMFSOL, and on X it's at EMF_Solutions_. Everything's on my descriptions now. As of yesterday, everything was up. So you can refer back to this. You can go on and find all the information, and don't take my word for it because I'm no expert. I am just a facilitator of information and hopefully great knowledge and resources. That's my role right now. And hopefully that's what I'm providing by bringing these amazing people on. And so, Cory, I just want to say thank you for your willingness to come on with me, not knowing me or my show today, and trusting us. And jumping in on our always fun challenges on Friday. It always makes it fun and exciting for us over here. I hope it was for you too.
It was great. Thank you so much for having me, Noél.
Yeah, we're going to follow up certainly with Joel, and hopefully, God willing, I will say prayers that there's somebody on this side of the world. I would love to have the boys, and my parents are 91 and 98, respectively, in July and September this year. And I would love to check out our house over there as well. My sister has an issue respiratorily, and so I would love to see what that looks like in our house. That's a little less of the stuff, but nonetheless still has the problems we discussed today. So thanks so much for being here, and we really look forward to being in touch with you.
Thanks again.
Yeah, you two have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you. So you guys, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. I mean, we talk about these things all the time, and it's always learning for me because I was in the NyQuil space. I was in the nothing's wrong space all these years. I didn't even know about the little chips. I didn't even know about EMF. I literally, I think, heard about it a year and a half ago. I didn't understand the gravity of all the devices and the microwaves. But when you think about it now, how refined they've made them and how tiny they put the computer in our hand, they're just minuscule. You have to assume that what it emits is even more powerful for the size they've shrunk it to. Just even without a science background whatsoever, that would make sense to me, and hopefully it will to you as well. And so get online, you guys, look up all the important stuff, emfhometest.com, start there. And I'm not a partner with this company. I'm not going to be a partner with this company. I find everything very valuable. I'm just a little slower on the uptake because I do like to do my own research, and I'm really not going to throw a bunch of information up and say, do this or do that until I really know what I'm talking about and test it for myself, because I don't want to give, I just want to give real, honest information. And again, I always say, like, if you want to follow, like, and share too, it comes along those lines. If you don't want to follow me, if you don't like me, I mean, I hope you like me, but if you don't like me, not everybody does, apparently, according to online comments, but at least share. Even if you don't listen to the show and you see the show, just hit the share button. Like, you could help somebody else potentially that you don't even know. And really, that's what we're trying to accomplish. You can get all the hard news from all the other channels that, you can turn on your TV locally or nationally, and they give you all those top line stories. And so that's why we don't do as many here, because they recycle that. And the information I'm giving for my benefit and yours is alternate information that you may not have heard about, like EMF Solutions would be a great example of that. Micronic silver, also a very good example. And start getting healthy inside. And we don't have to worry about buying so much crap on the outside that they're selling at the stores at CVS and Walgreens and Walmart. So stay away from that stuff. That's all terrible for you. Come to find out years later, we did not know. But, that's not our fault. That's their fault for doing that to us. But once you know, you should never go back. I feel like that's a thing too. As an adult, you have to make better decisions going forward, even every single day. Even if yesterday was a bad decision day and you ate Skittles all day watching Netflix and not doing anything productive. All right, so you have one bad day down. Tomorrow you can completely turn that around and completely make different choices. And that's every day of your life. Because with what just happened and at the Mystic Camp in Texas, just to go back to the top comment I made this morning, or the top of the hour, I wrote this online. A friend of mine in Oregon put something out about it, thoughts and prayers and what we say when these things happen, which is important, definitely. And I also extend those to these poor families that this happened to. But the bigger picture is every single second of every day, if you notice, there's a lot happening in the world that we just don't control anymore. Nobody lives in the bubble anymore, even if you really try hard. And so many things come at you. You just don't know what a moment brings, whether you're driving on the freeway a lot out here. There's accidents happen every single second, walking across the street. I mean, gosh, derailments, planes going down. We could do the whole list. It's a really interesting world out there, safety wise. And so the only thing you can control is right where you are. And you want to protect every ounce of life you have and that of your families, and for the long-term benefit, certainly, and just your overall health benefit to feeling the best you can in your 70s and 80s. And we can't live forever yet, but we certainly can extend ourselves to the point of enjoying life into those years. My parents are in their 90s and they still run around town a little bit here and there a few times a month and spend the day out, and they're not on any products. We've taken them off a lot of pharmaceuticals over the last couple of years, and they're a little more resistant to some of the newer technology like EMF Solutions provides, but they're not completely opposed. And a lot of people in that age category are really informed these days. And so it's our job to bring you all the information that we can as quickly as you can, because they're coming at us with a lot of bad stuff alternately. So anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed all of that information. Get online, EMF Solutions, and check out my links and descriptions also. Robert, I do want to go back to our top story with Art. I do want to touch on the FBI. We gave the tip line. We're going to put that in. But number 6, they did have a press conference. I want to bring this up. This was in Texas. And let me grab that note real quick before you play it. Number 6. So the press conference was held on Monday, just this Monday on the 7th. And the gal who came on to give the press conference, Nancy Larson, she's the acting United States Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Now, in Texas, they're not messing around. They're all law and order for the most part. You have your crazy Democrats over there who apparently don't think that should be adhered to, and they are still trying to let all the terrorists and criminals who were allowed in, they want them to stay. So I have my Take Our Border Back shirt on today. I was part of this initiative last year. Robert actually helped us in San Ysidro last July for one of our live streams, and we were around the country. We worked with Canada and Mexico, and I did a big event here in Yuma last February with about 2,300 people that showed up in person from 30 plus states, and Canadians included, who came and camped over. It was a whole day event, and it was to bring awareness. I think it really helped a lot. Certainly a lot of people didn't know it was happening, but those who are here, who are proponents of allowing criminals to stay, that have crossed our border or that were let in, we do just need to remember and talk about it, because as our administration currently is trying to remove those entities and those dangerous people, we have other people, Americans, those 10 that we popped up earlier, who are somehow have been turned to believing that unsafe environments for not just our ICE agents. I mean, let's think about this for a second. Unsafe for our ICE agent because they put them in an ambush situation. They drew them out and they wanted to kill them. They didn't want to shoot at them. It's not a shooting gallery. It's not a shooting range. They wanted to kill them on the spot. They are Americans. And actually I hate when I use that word improperly. Benjamin Hannel Song, who is on the run. I haven't seen news if they've caught him yet. The suspect, 32-year-old Asian male in Alvarado, Texas. He is Marine reservist. So I was pretty disappointed working with some veterans lately. You guys know I had a couple great Marines on here, D-Day on June 6th, and I was just with one of them at the parade last weekend. Great Marines. Marines are amazing. All our servicemen are, for the most part. Not everybody's perfect, and you're going to have the bad apples in every walk of life, our service included. But it is disappointing to see that somebody who was in our military would go down this other walk of life with the 10 other criminals who were caught already. 3 of them, I think, or 2 of them for sure, were transgender. I don't know if that's some kind of weird phenomenon or just unusual coincidence these days, because that they put that in the front of the spotlight, that those people are just now grouping together in negative ways. I don't really know why that is happening, but nonetheless, it is a factor in this story as well. And then number 6 that he's going to bring up right now, 10 alleged members of the Antifa terrorist cell. She's going to be talking about that and what they are doing regarding the ambush they put together for these ICE agents, who luckily are okay. So let's hear what they're doing over there in Texas. Sure am.
We're here to tell you that late at night on July 4th, Friday night at approximately 10:37 p.m. at the Prairieland ICE Detention Center in Alvarado, Texas, 10 to 12 individuals dressed in black military-style clothing began shooting fireworks and engaging in acts of vandalism at the facility. And this was part of an organized attack. Today, my office has charged 10 individuals with 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer. Each of the 10 are also charged with 3 counts of discharging a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. Each of these defendants faces a mandatory prison term of 10 years and up to life in prison. An additional co-conspirator was charged with obstruction of justice and conspiracy for attempting to conceal and destroy evidence in relation to the attack, and he faces up to 10 years in prison. Let's discuss the incident. It was a planned ambush with the intent to kill ICE corrections officers. Make no mistake, this was not a so-called peaceful protest. It was indeed an ambush.
So that's right. So that's what she said, and I said that earlier. They were not trying to shoot them, as some reports have mentioned on TV as well as in writing. They're actually, you can keep that up there. We're going to talk about that in a minute. They're actually trying to kill them. So guns don't just shoot; they actually do kill, and that's what they're meant for. A big gun proponent. A lot of people I know in Arizona carry on their hip. It's an open carry state without any kind of licensing. Responsible carry is great. Um, any other carry is not okay, right? Just that's just a blanket statement. We do like the Second Amendment if used properly and for our benefit. And unfortunately, now the argument for the Second Amendment has been made from the other side, because there are clearly crazy people running around our streets currently, right now, this month, this week in 2025, in Texas and Arizona, with what Art shared with us happened here last week with our own agents. So we have the right to bear arms according to the U.S. Constitution, and we just had our country's anniversary and 249th year for that reason last weekend on July 4th. And so that is one of those that we want to uphold, because if there's crazy people allowed to run around shooting at our agents who are there to protect us, we have got to be allowed to protect ourselves. And that's just a fact of life, unfortunately, for us and for them who don't want us to have guns, but that's the way it is. And they've created this chaos for all of us to have to now deal with. And so that's what we're going to do. And hopefully Texas will do it swiftly, quickly, and set the tone for everyone else trying to hurt anyone in that role of protection for our benefit. We're going to touch on the beautiful bill. Kind of on the fence. I know there's always bad things in bills. I wish they had broken it down like they said they were going to. That's disappointing that they did not. However, there are some good things too that they don't want to talk about. The border security, of course, is being beefed up. We know that this is happening. We see here in Arizona at our border, they have dropped the numbers down to next to nothing, where it's triple or quadruple digits, 1,600 a day last year, 1,800 a day, 2,300 a day at the high time. I think we're in, I don't know, I haven't seen numbers, but I know it's under 100 a day. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's down to like double digits, like in the 20s or 30s a day. Like they're literally standing around in our border areas in Arizona with nothing to do. They're not chasing them down anymore at night. If they are, it's very infrequently, which is good because it protects our officers from any crazy chaotic situations out in the field and the desert. Taxes prevents the largest tax increase in American history, expands the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So that will save thousands for everyone. And Medicaid, I know everyone is up in arms about that. I don't expect anyone in middle level life to see any difference other than improvement. It'll preserve the programs for the truly needed or the needy, while tackling financial loopholes, abuse, which we had exposed with DOGE right off the bat, eliminating benefits for illegal immigrants. They've already started cutting those back to the tune of billions or millions of dollars per state that are taking that in hand right now and have cut that off and putting the money back in the pockets of the American citizens who paid into the system or who did, need it in their older years, certainly. And people who can work, like you need to work if you can work. If you have a medical, issue, that's understandable. But if you have a medical issue and you can still answer a phone, because there's a lot of telemarketing going on as far as like in-home work jobs, like maybe look into that and get off the system, because it'll benefit you in the long run and just health wise, it makes you feel better to be productive in general. I think that's the way it works for me. So I think that's a thing these days still in 2025. You work hard, you play hard, you have what you have, and you enjoy it with your family. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. Simplified terms, of course. And so we got a lot of information today. We've gone a little bit over or more than usual, a little more over. Just can't seem to reel back the information, nor do I want to if I have the platform to provide it. So we're going to go to all the way to the end. Robert has been patient today again, as usual, and we're going to finish up as we always do. Carolyn Levitt's back on board with her MAGA Minutes, makes it so easy for me to wrap up. The jobs added, 147,000, egg prices plummeting. I paid $2.89 for gas a couple days ago, which was amazing. And even when I was in California last week, it was only like $3.89, which I was expecting higher. So it's definitely come down even in the highest zones of our nation. And that's really just great for everyone. The barrel of oil is way, way down. They got alligator Alcatraz she's going to talk about. We love that. Let's get all the islands. Let's pop up a whole bunch of ICE facilities and detention centers and surround them with bogs and swamps so they can't get off of those areas until they're deported back where they belong, which is their own home countries, because they're here illegally. No matter what you think about that, that's the law. And they came illegally, they're here illegally. It makes them automatically a criminal. We don't want criminals to hang out with us at all, really. So we're going to try to rid America of that situation. And then, of course, the 250th anniversary, they're already kicking it off. That's why next year we're going to be in Coronado again on the Marine League float. I cannot wait for that birthday. We just talked about the beautiful bill, but let's hear it from Caroline because she does it so much nicer than I just did.
This was one of the hottest weeks in our nation's history, and I'm not talking temperature. Let's break it all down in this week's MAGA Minute. The jobs numbers for the month of June are in, and the United States added 147,000 jobs, exceeding market expectations for the fourth month in a row. Our unemployment rate fell to 4.1%, again defying expectations. The price of eggs has rapidly declined under President Trump, inspiring Waffle House to announce that it has removed its egg surcharge from the menu. In a huge win for women who play sports, the Department of Education secured an agreement with the University of Pennsylvania to remove men from women's sports, and it corrects the record in favor of sanity. President Trump continues to deliver trade deals. He announced a trade deal with Vietnam, which will give the U.S. total access to their markets for the first time ever. The president also visited Alligator Alcatraz in Florida, reaffirming our commitment to law and order in our country. And he visited the great state of Iowa to kick off a series of celebrations across the country to celebrate next year's 250th birthday of the United States. And finally, Congress worked hard to deliver the one big beautiful bill to President Trump's desk. This bill means no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, and a big beautiful tax cut for everyone. It's on the way. And for those of you celebrating our nation's birthday, the cost of a 4th of July cookout for 10 people skyrocketed by more than 20% under Joe Biden, but that cost has dropped under President Trump. This 4th of July, we are celebrating not only the birth of our great nation, but the birth of a golden age of economic prosperity for you and your family. And the best is yet to come. We'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute. Happy Independence Day.
So yeah, that's always the week before, right? So that was July 4th. I was in a parade on the float with the Marine League Corps and our friend Leo McSweeney, who was on June 6th with Martin Lopez for D-Day celebration. Can't thank them enough. I'm going to thank them again right now. You guys, such a pleasure to meet you in May at the Armed Forces Day Gala. Have you on the show. June 6th was also fantastic. And then to get the invite back to the float this year for the Coronado Day 4th of July parade was beyond my wildest comprehension for a dream at this moment in my life. So yeah, I'll be riding that wave for probably a little while as I prepare for next year with better equipment, not better equipment, but I'll just know how to use it better. Certainly the wobbly gimbal situation will be corrected. I'm going to do a lot of practicing with that piece of device for sure. As Robert, I'm sure, is laughing in the back now when I say that. But it is up there, you guys. It was live. You can see the crowds, and I encourage you just pop on, and if you're having a bad day, turn on something fun. It was really fun. There's no resources there. It was just an awesome day in San Diego, beautiful at Coronado Island at the beach. And so once again, we've had a great guest today. So I thank you so much for tuning into American Perspective with me, your host, Noél Roberts, Patriot Mom 007 here in Arizona. And as always, if you don't catch us now, right on all the shows live, it's going to be up there forever. So check it out when you have some time. Skip around. If you don't like this, skip to the Cory part. He'll give you all the really good, important information. I acknowledge that, people just want the info sometimes, not the narrative. I'm okay with that. But if you like the narrative, let me know too in comments. I always like to hear about it. The feedback is good. But I do want to thank Robert Johnson, JData17. You can find him on Facebook and X. He puts out our Arizona Live data channel, San Diego, Chula Vista Live data, California Live data, a bunch of state live data. You can find everything on his website and online, Facebook and X at JData17. Follow him, see what's happening in your areas. He does bring it to you live, uncut and uncensored, so you know exactly what is going on in real time, which is a kind of a novelty these days, right? And that's what we do here. So, you know, things happen, we kind of roll with it, and we hope you will too. To learn more about today's guest, Cory Hillis, EMF Solutions, it's emfsol.com. You also have the other EMF home off the top of my head, emfhometest.com. That's the place he says to go to check that out. Has the best information. But click around, find out. The resources and links will be shared. They're up there now. Please check them all out at Patriot_Mom007 and follow, like, and share on all the channels. X, it is PMom007. But please do always remember to get educated, get involved. If you're going to get involved, you must get educated, because if you don't know the challenges within your community, then you're not able to really affect or help positively things for your family, your friends, you know, your neighbors, even in your neighborhood level, your county level, your state level, and of course our federal level. It doesn't run on its own. We do have to all do our part one way or the other. I encourage you to get involved today, because elections are around the corner. Some really important ones, like the New York one with Mom Dami. They want to go full socialist over there. They're coming up at the end of this year. Check out Opportunity Score. I'm going to start talking about John Paul has a great company in relation to elections. I don't do a ton of it here, but it is important to get that information as well. We'll have him on soon, because that vote in New York is most important if you live on that side of town. Vote your conscience. Of course, it's your vote. You get it to do with what you will, but also remember to vote for your family's safety and security long term, because of what's happening on the other side. They don't seem to be very concerned with safety and security at all, short term, long term. Certainly not for the kids who can't protect themselves. Next week, we're going to have another great guest, great products coming up again, and we'll do a little pre-post on that. And we got a good lineup the rest of the month, actually. And so we're going to be looking into September to find some more amazing guests to keep it coming to you. Gosh, September, holy cow, that'll be the fall. And summer, the 117 will be gone before you know it. So it's not even that hot, really. It's a dry heat. But I do really wish you guys all a beautiful Friday. Of course, have a great weekend, whatever you're doing, hopefully with family, friends, loved ones, or something fun, certainly after a long week of work. And I hope to see you guys again next week. Friday, we pretty much start at noon Pacific Mountain Standard, 3 o'clock Eastern. Hope you can join us on one of our channels then. And that's American Perspective with me, Patriot Mom 007. With that, I will let Robert take us out today.